Our Seaside band, sounding good as always. I like that our guest artist is tall. See, when they set it up, it's all ready to go. Good for me. I want to take a moment just to invite you to come on in, take a seat. We're going to get ready to get going here. Thank you. A wonderful service for you today. I have a few announcements, but before I begin those, I want to take just a moment to honor the practitioner that's holding the light for us today, Practitioner Ellen Rice. Thank you, Ellen. Just a reminder that our practitioners are always available for prayer. It is our honor and our joy to pray with you. It's what we've been trained for. It's what we love to do. There's a few ways you can receive prayer here at Seaside. You can, on Sundays, always get a live prayer from a practitioner. Just outside the side doors here is our prayer chapel. Just go there after service, and they'll be waiting for you. You can receive a prayer. Back where Ellen is sitting, there's a prayer request chest. In fact, I think there's a chest also in the foyer. You can put a written prayer request in there. Those are distributed confidentially to the practitioners, and they'll pray over your prayers for a few weeks. Also, all of our phone numbers are in the Inside Seaside program, and you can give us a phone call. We'd be happy to pray with you over the phone, or we are available to set up a private session if there's something longer that you're needing some more time with. So please know we are here for you, and it's what we like to do. Okay, it's coming to the end of the summer, and so we have a few of our summer offerings still on the table, so I just want to mention those real quickly. Monday nights, we've been doing the deep sound meditation, the bowl meditation here. They clear all the chairs in the sanctuary. There's a giant circle laid out with all the bowls. Bring a yoga mat, come and be part of that. It's very popular. It fills up. It ends September 1st, so we have just a few more weeks of the Monday night deep bowl ceremony meditation. I think on the September 1st, the last day, there's also a potluck before it, so you can check out flyers for that in the family room. One of our practitioners, Linda Light, a master practitioner who will be up here on the stage in just a few moments, she is teaching a class this summer, and there's 2 nights left. It's Tuesday evening class, I believe, and it's $15 a class. You don't have to have attended all 4 of them. There's 2 left, the 26th and September 2nd. Subtle body, clear mind. It's a gentle yoga poses, stretching, moving, and clearing energy throughout your body. So come and be part of that. Again, it's only $15 a class. Today after service, we have a fun thing. We have a fun art thing, which always seems to bring everybody out. We're doing God boxes. Rosemary, are you here? Rosemary, come on up. She's going to tell us about them. Now, this may be too tall for you.
Hi, everybody. This is too high for me, isn't it? Just a little bit shorter. Okay, here we go. Hi, we're going to be making what we call God boxes. I like to call them also as So It Is, because it's a place to release and anything that's troubling you or bothering you in your life, rather than ruminating it and praying for something you don't want to happen, you can release it and put it into the God box and let it go to the universe and let that field take it on its way. And even making it is a sacred activity, because you are creating a vessel that you're going to release it into. So you're picturing that field that you're going to be releasing whatever's concerning you. So the whole thing is a very sacred, kind of a fun also journey. So join us. We're in the Emerson room, and I do have a few extra boxes for anybody that didn't sign up and would like to join us. So come on. It's at 1:30 today, and it will go about till about 4. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, and our fall catalog will be coming out in the next couple of weeks. So fall is a big time for classes around here. So be ready to sign up. Let's see, we have a couple of opportunities of service, and I just want to mention those to you. You'll see them in the Inside Seaside, but our Seaside ambassadors are up and running. I don't know if Keith is still here. Keith, here he is. Keith Russell is our grand poobah of ambassadors. If you're interested in being a Seaside ambassador, please see Keith. He'll be at the welcome table by the back door there on your way out. An ambassador is somebody that is here to just share their love and their greeting. They're here to welcome people into Seaside, and Keith can tell you more about that. Another thing that Keith is involved in and always has been is our rummage sales. And we're getting ready to have another big rummage sale. Save the date, October the 4th. But more importantly, the pods are going to be arriving soon. And Keith is needing us to drop off the things for the rummage sales. You'll hear more about that in the next week or so. Anything that you might have that you're wanting to release for somebody else to own. Or if you're interested in volunteering, it's a giant setup the day of the rummage sale. They spend lots of time getting all ready the few days beforehand. So again, see Keith at the welcome table afterwards, and he'll tell you all about that. We always raise lots of money for something good that we're needing here at Seaside. So, also we have a flower ministry. We have flowers on the stage, and you can sign up to do flowers one Sunday. The sign up is over there by the food window, but next to the kitchen. And a lot of people do flowers to celebrate an anniversary or a birthday or a remembrance, a memorial. So know that's available. We have openings. Also, we've been doing food for the Community Resource Center. Our goal this time around, we raised the goal, we keep raising the goal, was 6,000 pounds of food, which we're like, oh my gosh, we're never going to do that. We have 5,500 already, so we're just eating 500 more pounds of food. Yes, pretty good. So that's a lot of families in our community that are going to get fed because of you. So continue to bring your non-perishable items and drop them off in the baker's rack in the family room. A couple more dates to save, well, one more date actually. It's September 28th. We've got two things going on. We've got our preteen pool party at Dr. Christian's house. So if you have a teen or a preteen, this is the time to come and play. They all love to go swim at Dr. Christian's house. So see Reverend Lori in the family ministry. Or we have for everyone else a drumming circle on the 28th. So that's also a big event. We fill up with all of our drummers, so save the dates of 28th for that. And that's what's happening at Seaside. So at this time, I'm going to ask you to stand and greet your neighbor, and please remain standing for the congregational song.
Good morning. All right, I'd like you to help me sing the congregational song today. So I'm going to sing the first one and you sing the second one. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me know that love is all around.
That love is all around.
Oh, let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me know that love can heal us all.
Let me know that love can heal us all.
Oh, let me know that love can heal us all.
Let me know that love can heal us all.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Come on, Bob. serve in a holy, holy way.
Let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me care for those around the world.
Let me care for those around the world.
Oh, let me care for those around the world.
Let me care for those around the world.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way.
That's the wonderful Rebecca Jade. We love her. Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Kathy Hearn. It's a delight to invite you to welcome all of you here today. I'm one of the staff ministers here at Seaside. In fact, I'm actually the dean of the School of Spiritual Leadership. And as I love to say, if you're thinking about a life in spiritual leadership, you come talk to me. I'd like to tell you all about it. We have a wonderful service prepared for you today. But let me tell you that singing for us today is the most marvelous Andrew Pettit. Let's welcome Andrew. And you've already heard from Reverend Debbie. We're so glad she's a brand new minister, and we love having her here, leading our education program. And of course, there's our fabulous band. We love them. And I received an email from Dr. Christian this morning. He was up at 3:30 emailing me. I was not up then, and he's with his family in Montana, so I know he's thinking about us, and we're sending a big beam of love to him, absolutely. So again, thanks so much for being here today. And to start us off with prayer, here's our wonderful practitioner, Linda Light. Here you go.
So let's take a minute and just go into the stillness. So just taking that big breath, that big God breath. And just opening this morning, accessing the divine, just being in the present space of letting God fill this room, for God is already here. Spirit is in each one of us. In me, expressing through me, expressing as me, in you, expressing as you. Divine creation, intelligence, unlimited abundance. This is God, and this is who we are here meant to be, the individualization of that formless thing that we call spirit. So let us open into this service today. Let us open with an open heart into this space of divine love, listening to Dr. Reverend Kathy Hearn, listening to the music, clapping, singing, being present to all this abundant talent and skills and absolute devotion to the divine. And let us recognize the part that we are, the wholeness, the connection. The heart is filled with gratitude. The heart is so open to this day and to this thing that we call life. And so I simply say thank you, and so it is.
God is great, God is magnificent, God is love, God is truth. I am great, I am magnificent, I am love, I am truth. You are great, you are magnificent, you are love, you are true.
Thank you, Rebecca. That was beautiful. God is great. God is magnificent. Yes. Well, welcome. Welcome. I am Reverend Debbie McDonald, and it's so fun to be able to say that. Thank you. I was told the first service has been 18 days. 18 days I've been a new minister. And I'm very, very grateful, and I just want to take this minute while I have this opportunity to thank all of you. I've learned from each and every one of you in different ways. I've had some of you in classes. I've been taught by some of you. And I've just been so blessed to serve with you on boards and to be here. I've been at Seaside, started my foundations training 9 years ago. So from 9 years till now to become a minister. And I'm just so, so grateful. I thank my new dean, Dr. Kathy. She stepped in halfway through my senior year, and she just supported us and loved us beautifully. So thank you, my Seaside family. I'm very grateful to be part of you. I want to welcome anybody who's here for the first time. If you've never been to Seaside, please know you are welcome here. We honor all paths to God. You are welcome. It is a joy for us to have you with us. We do have new member packages, so if you have not been here before, please pick up a package at the welcome table on the way out. It's an envelope full of all sorts of goodies. There's coupons for books and muffins and all sorts of things, and more literature about what religious science is and who we are at Seaside. So please pick that up and check it out. We have a ministry here called Heart to Heart, and today we have a Heart to Heart recipient. We are, Heart to Heart is about taking our message, our Seaside family, our Seaside community into our larger community, into the city, into the county of San Diego. And so we're so grateful to be able to support a wonderful organization that's here today, Interactions for Peace, in conjunction with our Bonita Center for Spiritual Living, are doing a walk for peace. And I would like to introduce at this time Esmeralda Christensen, who's going to come up and tell us a little bit more about it. And Esmeralda, just before you get started, I just want to take a moment to say that we are a tithing community at Seaside, and one of the things that we love to do is we love to tithe out into the community. And so this is for you and all your works.
Thank you. We are absolutely grateful to be here today, and we are happy to share with you that we are working on our second annual I Walk for Peace 5K. It's going to be at Crown Point in Mission Bay this year with just an amazing view. And we're really excited to be working with Interactions for Peace because their goal and our goal is to come together with the intention of letting our youth
Hello, thanks Vivian for letting me know that you couldn't hear me. Okay. Well, I hope you heard Esmeralda. She's just doing lovely work, and they do have a booth out there in the family room, so stop by and see them afterwards. We're going to take this moment to ground ourselves in prayer, so I invite you to just turn within, close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, and just know in this moment, right here and right now, that God is, that there is nothing but the divine, that there is nothing but that one power and that one presence that is God, that is good, that is love. And I'm knowing that I am one with all that is. And just as I know this is true for me, I know it's true for each and every individual in this room, each and every individual in the planet, knowing that they are one with the divine. And I'm knowing that this service unfolds perfectly in divine order. I'm knowing that the words of Dr. Kathy inspire everybody. They get exactly what they need here today, hear exactly what it is that they need to take that next step on their path. And I'm knowing for our families and our children that the beginning of the school year unfolds perfectly, that each child is placed in the right and perfect classroom, that each teacher receives the students that are exactly hers to teach. And I'm knowing that we at Seaside here are just blessed. We're just blessed to be part of this beautiful spiritual community, to be part of this wonderful Sunday celebration. And I'm knowing that it is good and very, very good. It was a heart full of gratitude and love and blessing that I just simply release these words into the divine action of the law, knowing it is complete, knowing it is done. And so it is.
Good morning. Well, it is my honor to introduce your guest artist today. He came all the way down from Pasadena. He's been here before to perform and sing for you, and so please help me in welcoming Andrew Pettit so he can sing, share his gifts.
Good morning. That's good? Got my effects on? It's a little dry. Make me sound like Beyonce. I remember me staring at myself. See these same two eyes, see these same 2 feet. Pick it up. I remember you're who I used to be. You still look the same. You don't hurt like me. Look in my reflection. Somewhere my affection disappeared, isn't here, nothing left to say. Memories, they're fading, but I'm the one who made them, so I keep this love close enough to say, here we go. What if this life is all that we are given? We just can't stop living, scared of what we'll see. 'Cause in this world, anything can hurt you, push you then forget you, store your history. 'Cause I remember me, I remember me. It don't matter where I go, what I'm told, you got it now, you know that I remember me, I remember me. Even if I say goodbye, start to cry, do or die, I remember me, I remember me. Oh, oh. I tell you what my name is, but ain't nothing gonna change it. It's what you are, it's what you are, even if your memories fly. I go to places, trying to find familiar faces. They don't know, I still show. They don't have to look for me. I dream about a place where all the broken pieces fit together. 'Cause in this world, anything can hurt you, push you then forget you, store your history. But I remember me, I remember me. It don't matter where I go, come on, what I'm told, now you know that I remember me, I remember me. Even if if I say goodbye, start to cry, do or die, I remember me. Now all that's left, these hands, my breath, I'll say goodbye. So many things that tears won't dry. I'll take this pain, this joy and rain, 'cause all that matters now in this life, anything can hurt you, push you then forget you, stole my history. 'Cause I remember me, I remember me. Even if I say goodbye, start to cry, do or die, I remember me, I remember me. Even if I say goodbye, start to cry, do or die, I remember me, I remember me. It don't matter where I go, what I'm told, now you know that I remember me, I remember me. Even if I say goodbye, start to cry, do or die, I remember me.
Thanks, Rebecca. Well, good morning again. It's so good to see all of you. The talk for today is Mind the Gap, and I'll tell you what that means in just a moment. But I wanted to present something to you that actually leads into the talk, and that is, first of all, a great lineup of classes have been prepared for you this fall, and you'll be hearing more about them. And I will be teaching a class starting on September 11th for Thursday nights, running from the 11th to October 23rd. And the class is called Finding Your Place, Embracing Your Purpose. And it's a class about coming to know your purpose, your true calling, or what the Eastern religions call your dharma, the law of your being. And so it's all about discovering your place in life and who you really are and what flows from your being into doing. And it's 2 hours a night. That's so civilized, 6:30 to 8:30. I love that. So I want you to know about that. So this is a moment of shameless promotion. But also there is a teaching in that class. There's a wonderful book, by the way. It's called The Great Work of Your Life by Stephen Cope. And we will have that book available in the bookstore here. Wonderful book. And one of the teachings in that class is called Indra's Net, I-N-D-R-A, Indra's Net. And the teaching is this, that the great god Indra emerged into human consciousness about 3,000 years ago. And from the top of his celestial home at Mount Meru, which is the most sacred mountain in the Hindu tradition, or the Vedic tradition, he cast an infinite net. And in my imagination, it's always a glittering gold net. So go with me there, okay? This glittering gold net. And at the place where the lines of the net came together, he placed one jewel for every human soul in creation. Or I actually like to think about a jewel for everything in creation. And so we are each here, and all people everywhere and all beings everywhere are each a jewel on the net of creation. And our duty, our sacred duty, our responsibility, or our job, you might say, is to utterly be the jewel that we each are. And each one of us is unique, and we have our own unique place on the net. And when we live the truth of who we are, when we get at really the essence and truth and the uniqueness of our own being, and we start to live that and express that in our doing, we help hold up our piece of the net of creation. Make sense? Right. And so that will tantalize you with the teaching, because we'll talk about that in the class. But one way that we start to know who we are and what our place is on the net is to begin to feel into our hearts and think about what it is that we aspire to. And so I'll ask you that. What is in your heart about your life? What is it that you aspire to? What do you want to create or to accomplish or to bring about? What is in your heart about your life? The great poet David Whyte, I think he's great, it's W-H-Y-T-E, by the way, says that whenever we aspire to something, when we want to create something or change into something or grow into a new expression, that part of us already stands in that place of the accomplishment. That part of us goes forward and actually stands there and knows what that place is all about. And that part calls to us across a territory that we need to cross, and it says, come this way. Come this way. Come on, you can do it. Walk this way. It's going to be good. And so as we look at this talk today about Mind the Gap, it is about bringing our attention to the distance between where we are and where we want to go. And to be willing to see what's in the gap and actually do the work that's needed to do to close the gap, to cover the distance, to actually arrive where we want to be. And this idea of Mind the Gap comes from a friend, a ministerial friend that is a colleague of mine and Dr. Christian's, Reverend Wendy Craig Purcell, and she is the leader at the Unity Center here in San Diego. And we were at a meeting, and she presents this idea of Mind the Gap, and she said that when you go to the UK, then to London, and you're in the tube station, you will see signs that say Mind the Gap. And it means be careful of the gap that exists from between the train that you're on and the platform you're about to step on, and in fact, don't fall into the gap. And so Wendy picked up on that idea, and she started talking about minding her own gaps in her own life. And a gap in your life is the distance between what you say is important but what you really give your time to. It's the distance between what you talk about, but actually how you're walking in the world. It's the distance between what you say you believe in, but how you're actually living. And by the way, this is deeply personal work. And so I invite you to resist the temptation to stick out your elbow and jab your partner or friend and say, you really ought to get this point. Okay? The work here is to turn your elbow into your own side and say, am I listening? Because we are here to mind our own gaps and not to mind the gaps of other people. That's their work. And we're here to acknowledge a gap where it exists and to begin to do the work to practice closing the gap. So why is this important? Well, I'll tell you 4 reasons. That the first one has to do with what Gandhi said. They asked him, what do you have to say to the world? And he said, my life is my message. My life is my message. In other words, how we are living, how we are acting in the world is really the message that we're broadcasting. And so the question for each one of us to ask is, am I giving the message that I really want to be giving in the world? Am I the message I want to give? Now, I don't know about you, but I was raised with a mom who loved to say, don't do as I do, do as I say. How many of you had my mother? Okay. God bless her, and I do bless her. But I knew as a kid, even as a kid, that didn't fly, that there was something false to me about that. And even though I understood the good of what she was trying to say to me, the truth is it's our behavior that impacts our children. And so we're either blessed or have to get over some of the things that were modeled to us. So our life is a message, and that's one reason why we want to close the distance between what we say we want and who we are and how we're actually living. The second reason I've already talked about, and that is that we're here to realize our place on the net of life. We're here really to know, each one of us, to know the unrepeatable miracle that we each are. That we each are a prayer that God is praying for a greater good on the planet. And if we are not living that deep essential truth of who and what we are, if we're not bringing it forth in our little domain on the planet, then something's missing. If you don't bring it, it's going to be missing. And if something's missing, it's because you didn't bring it. And that's how it is. And I think it's a real truth that anything that we aspire to, anything that our heart calls us to, anything that is a high idea or an intention, something that we want to create, And it doesn't have to be big. It can be big and glorious and world transforming, or it could be as simple as, I actually really want to be the presence of unconditional love in my life. So it doesn't matter about size at all, because there's no large or small to spirit. It's about what's true for you. But whatever is in your heart about your life, that's life actually calling forth from you, saying, evolve. You know, life evolves through us. We are at the pinnacle of evolution right now. It doesn't always look that way, does it, around the planet? But we are at the pinnacle of evolution, and we are here to help further the expression of life into more light and more love and greater light and all of those kinds of things. And if we stay in our little small space at one end of the gap, we are not really allowing life so fully to move through us as it could. We are here as part of the evolution. And by the way, this is why Seaside exists. Seaside is here to help create awakened, loving community so that we might come here and awaken together and learn a body of spiritual principles that allow us to know a greater truth about ourselves, to live more authentically who we really are, and then take that out into the world as a great blessing. Yes. Thank you. I'm glad you like that. So do I. And when you have a high thought or a high aspiration, your inner self, and this is the third reason why minding the gap is important, your inner self is actually asking you to be congruent with that. That there's a match. That there's a congruency, a match between what you say you believe in and how you're living your life. Seaside took a huge step in congruency because it has a value of living green when it said we will not hand out plastic bottles of water anymore. This is a huge change. And it's been interesting. It has impacted me in my life. And every time I am out and I need to buy a bottle of water, it's like, ooh, I'm feeling it. And another idea that Seaside went for was we don't want to be creating lots of paper and plastic that we're throwing away. And so thinking of plates and things. And so there's a very committed group of people who are washing dishes these days. And that's Sandy Atkinson and her team. And thank you. I don't know if Sandy's here. So some very committed people are doing a lot of work, and now we're concerned about water too, so I don't know what we're going to do about that. Maybe we'll just start eating with our fingers. So the final reason why, and there are probably many more, but the four that I thought of, why it's so important to mind the gap is that when we are living at a distance from our truth, we feel it. And we may have other people fooled, although have you noticed they're not usually fooled either. But who we don't want to try to be fooling is ourselves, because it doesn't really work. And so we know when we have an aspiration or an intention and somehow we're not there yet and we're not really doing the work to get there. Again, this is deeply personal work, very subtle work. And none of this is about guilt and shame. None of this is about feeling guilty or in shame about the gaps that you have, because we all have them. It's just a question of what are we going to do with them. I was talking to a ministerial friend yesterday, and she said something that is now going to become a classic statement for me. And she said, guilt and shame are really old school. You like that? Isn't that good? Guilt and shame are really old school. They're trappings of an old God. They are the trappings of an old God who still exists in some places on the planet, but it's not what we teach here. That for us, there is not a cosmic punisher that observes everything that we're doing and then sends down thunderbolts, when we have a misstep between where we are and where we want to be. In fact, one of the teachings that I love so much about Science of Mind is we are not punished for our mistakes, but by them. We are not punished for our mistakes, but by them. And I even think punish is too heavy a word. But here's a quotation for you. The nature of God is revealed as infinite tenderness coupled with exact law. The nature of God is revealed as infinite tenderness coupled with exact law. In other words, the nature of God is love and law. There is no sin but a mistake, and no punishment but an inevitable consequence. And so when we are living at a distance from our truth, that will generate consequences for us. If only that we don't feel good about ourselves. If only that our actions are not in sync. They're not laser-like, they're not effective. If only that we make ourselves wrong. And so the opportunity is to get in alignment with the self, to come to the greater truth, to come back to that, to close and diminish the gap. And so when we mind the gap, if you really start looking at your gap, you mind yours, I'll mind mine, you'll start seeing that what's in the gap are just varieties of thoughts. Thoughts, beliefs, fears, doubts, right? But they're all the figment of thought. They're all the creation of thought. And a great principle that we teach here is that whatever thought has done, thought can undo. Let's say that together. Whatever thought has done, thought can undo. Let's even make it more personal. Whatever my thought has done, my thought can undo. Whatever my thought has done, my thought can undo. And that's absolutely the truth. It's just that we make these thoughts very, very real, and we use them to stay stuck and not crossing the territory to what we say that we want. And yet, to address these things one at a time, it's only a day at a time, a step at a time. To be willing to do that actually creates a kind of focus in us and a kind of discipline. If we love enough where we say we want to get to and stay and keep in faith with that, then we will walk step by step, day by day, in the direction of that thing. If we do not do that, it sets up a holy jihad within. We get a holy war on the inside, right? Where there is this disconnection between the higher truth, where we want to be, and this place where we're standing. And that can actually create some disintegration in our life. But I don't want to talk about that. And yet, all there is in the gap are all of the things that would have us say, I can't do it. It can't be done. I don't deserve it. I don't know how to do it. I'm not worthy of this, whatever it might be. Keith Russell just told me a joke today. You'll have to go see him about that. It's good, though, in alignment with this. Now I have you wondering, but that's okay. So when we address the gap, we start realizing that we can achieve the humanly impossible by identifying with the divinely possible. We can achieve what seems to be the humanly impossible by identifying with the divinely possible. It's that idea that with God all things are possible, or as Ricky Byers in a song says, God makes a way out of no way. Let's say that together. God makes a way out of no way, right? That when we align with that and not the human impossibility, some of the energy and power of that comes forward to us. The divinely possible is an innate part of your being. We learn here that there's the power for good in the universe and we can use it. That's one of the first things we learn here. In other words, that we can harness the creative power of thought and bring forth newness. That means that it's always possible to have a greater thought, a thought greater than what you're experiencing right now. That's part of why we're called the New Thought Movement. Because we can have a new thought anytime we choose, and it begins with a thought of a greater good and a greater possibility. But as we evolve on this path, we also realize that there's the power for good in the universe and it can use us. And that actually it is seeking, this power of good is seeking to use us for its greater expression. Because life is evolving and we're on our way to knowing our divine identity, not just as a concept, but as a living reality. So it's always possible to realize that there is an activity of the good power of God that is seeking to move us forward. And it is always possible for you to remember that part of you already stands in the place of accomplishment. It already knows it. It already knows it. And that you can move in the direction of that. It has to be so, or you wouldn't have had the intention and the idea. It has to be in you to have it. And so part of you stands there. The goal, the work, is to stay focused on where you want to get to. And to let that greater something call you and pull you in the direction of it. And it's just a matter of taking the next indicated step in the right direction, one step at a time, one day at a time. It isn't about trying to go the whole distance in one fell swoop. Is that the expression? So let's say this together. The only presence active in my life is love. The only power active in my life is good. Now we're going to say both of those 2 more times. Here we go. The only presence active in my life is love. The only power active in my life is good. The only presence active in my life is love. The only power active in my life is good. If you're wondering what to think that. Think that as you're about to take a step in the direction of your good. And you know, there's a wonderful story that comes out of the New Testament. And it's the story about Jesus walking on the water. And so I can't tell you that it is literally true, although I really love the story. But I know that it is, it is metaphysically sound. And in our philosophy, we look at the Bible metaphysically, great stories about our own spiritual awakening. And so the story is all about focus, keeping focus. And the story is this, that Jesus had done this huge teaching by the side of the Sea of Galilee, and he went off to pray. He went off to pray and to collect himself. And his disciples went out in a boat on the sea, and a big storm came up. And the waves were peaking, and the wind was blowing, and they became afraid, and they cried out. And as they looked in the distance, they could see this figure walking toward them on the water, and as it came closer, they realized it was Jesus. And he was saying, "Be not afraid, it is I am here." And so as he got to the side of the boat, Peter said, "Lord, if it is you, tell me to come out of the boat." And Jesus said, "Come." And so Peter stepped outside of the boat, and as long as he kept his eyes focused on the master, his master, he stayed up. But the minute the waves got greater and the wind got greater and he fell into fear and doubt, he started to sink. And in that moment, Jesus reached out his hand, Peter came back up, and Jesus said, "Oh, you of little faith, why did you doubt?" And so this is a beautiful teaching for us about what happens when we want to go in a certain direction, to embrace a greater good, to accomplish an art piece, to create a fabulous business, to live green, to transform the world, to have a loving relationship, whatever it might be. And we want that, but we fall into our doubt and our fear. We start to sink. And yet the call is to remember. I loved Andrew's song, "Remember Me." Come back to the truth of who you are and what it is that you want, and keep your eyes focused on that goal and on that good. All we have to do is take the next indicated step in the right direction, focused on where we want to go. There's a teaching that says we become what we contemplate. What we contemplate, we become. So what gets the most of your attention? Are you really wanting to be what you are contemplating most of the time? I see a nodding head. That's wonderful. And the final thing, before a little meditation from Rumi, let yourself be silently drawn by the stronger pull of what you truly love. Let yourself be silently drawn by the stronger pull of what you truly love. All right, so I invite you to close your eyes. You breathe for a moment. So I invite you just to take a moment to feel your feet on the floor and your body in the chair. How about a nice inhale and sigh, just like I just did? Yeah, feels good, doesn't it? So experience your breath very fully for a moment, giving your full attention to your inhale all the way to the top of the breath. And then your full attention to your exhale all the way to the bottom of the breath. And as you're surrendering into the breath, just feel the circulation of it. And allow your breath to be a slowly turning wheel at the center of which is the heart of God. And allow that center to merge with your own heart center. As you direct your breath in and down into the deep place of your heart, the cave of the heart. And in this very deep place, you meet the indwelling presence, your inner knower, your higher wisdom self. It sees with the eye of the heart. That is also the eye of wisdom and the eye of love. And just take a moment to ask your higher wisdom self to guide you now. And so allow it to bring up into your awareness something that you truly desire, that is a heart's aspiration, a true intention, a goal, something you want to be, something you want to do, something you want to have. And I invite you to let it come up without any sort of censoring. But just let the idea surface and be held in your heart. And now ask your higher wisdom self to show you, to reveal to you the very next step that you need to take, that must be taken in the direction of this intention or good or aspiration. Again, without censoring, without thoughts of how it could be, just see it for what it is. The next step. And so for the last piece of the meditation, see yourself taking that step. Doing that thing, letting go of something that needs to be released, making a phone call, telling a truth, whatever it might be. See yourself making that step and having arrived in that place of accomplishment of that one step. And feeling good about it. And just know that all that stands between you in this moment and the place that you want to go are a series of steps just like that. And so I invite you to place your hand on your heart and say, "Thank you, God, and so it is." And with a nice deep breath, open your eyes. And I just invite you to remember that part of you has already gone ahead. That spirit within you knows exactly who you are, what your full and joyful expression is, and where it is you are to be. And you know, when we take a step in alignment with the truth of who we are, Spirit meets and guides and directs every step absolutely for the greatest good, one step at a time, one day at a time. And so I invite you to hold this in your heart, to think on these things, and you mind your gap, and I'll mind mine. Thanks so much. Thank you. Thank you. And here's Andrew.
Lost touch with my soul. I had nowhere to turn, had nowhere to go. Lost sight of my dream, thought it would be the end of me. I thought I'd never make it through. I had no hope to hold on to. I thought I would break. I didn't know my own strength, and I crashed down and I tumbled, but I did not crumble. I got through all the pain. I didn't know my own strength, survived my darkest hour. My faith kept me alive. Pick myself back up, hold my head up high. I was not built to break. I didn't know my own strength. Oh, found hope in my heart. I found the light to light my way out of the dark. Found all that I needed here inside of me. I thought I'd never find my way. I thought I'd never lift that weight. I thought I would break. I didn't know my own strength, and I crashed down and I stumbled, but I did not crumble. I got through all the pain. I didn't know my own strength, survived my darkest hour. My faith kept me alive. Pick myself back up, hold my head up high. I was not built to break. I didn't know my own strength. There were so many times I wonder how I'll get through the night. I thought I took all that I could take. I didn't know my own strength, and I crashed down and I stumbled, but I did not crumble. I got through all the pain. Didn't know my own strength, survived my darkest hour. My faith kept me alive. Pick myself back up, hold my head up high. I was not built to break. I didn't know my own strength. Oh, I was not built to break. No, 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 no. Now I know my own strength.
Beautiful. Thank you, Andrew. Beautiful. He's so good, huh? Woo! Are you doing CDs or any of that? I'm working on it. Okay, good. All right, wonderful. We will wait anxiously. All right, this is our time for contribution. Our ushers are going to come forward, and I do invite you, if you would like to make a contribution to Seaside, to do that now. You know, in the great law of circulation, the circulation of all things, it's only what we give out that we can get back. And so if we have a withholding on the giving out side, we're going to have a withholding on the receiving side as well. If you have been fed spiritual food today, if you consider Seaside your spiritual home, if you've been awakened here, if you've been touched here this day, this is the appropriate place to receive your contribution. And one of the great ways to do it is to look at the financial good that has flowed into your life recently, and then give a proportion of that to bless Seaside here. And so we have an affirmation to do. Coming up, let's all do this together. Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now. Let's do it again. Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now. And so let us know that all of these gifts are given and blessed. Take it away. That's good. This is Helen Lipko, who's one of our wonderful board members. Let's acknowledge Helen and the whole board of trustees. All right, so please join with me in prayer. So first of all, I just give thanks for these abundant contributions. I know that they have flowed from the truth of life itself, and that truth is abundance. I know that here at Seaside we are opening to living in the overflowing goodness that is the reality of God. And so I know in this moment that the giver is the receiver and the receiver is the giver, and that these gifts bless Seaside and through Seaside all the world. And so I'm giving thanks for this, releasing this word and knowing it is done, and together we say, and so it is, amen. Thank you so much, Helen. That's still me. All right, I want to make some thank yous for everyone who's participated in the service today. First of all, to all of you for being here today. Your presence is a great gift. Let's take a moment to thank our fabulous band. I got their names, Bob, Lynn, Tom, and Jerry. As I said, they are the best Sunday morning band I've ever heard, so yay, they're the best, it's true. Let's acknowledge and thank once again Andrew Pettit for being here with us today. The wonderful Rebecca Jade for leading us. Our wonderful Reverend Debbie leading up education. Classes are going to rock under her guidance. And our sound team back there, Matthew and Marv, thank you so much. And Tim on camera. Hey, Tim. All right. And here are our beautiful children. Did anybody want to say anything today? Or okay. Do you do that usually, or I'm about to get in trouble? Okay, good. Come on up. Okay, you're going to tell us what you were doing? Abigail? Yay.
I am grateful for my mommy and for just being me.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And you want to say something too? Okay.
I'm grateful for my kindergarten.
Yay! All right. Thank you so much. One more? Okay. All right, Zoe.
I'm grateful for the flowers and everything.
Thank you. It's our way. Yay, beautiful. Now, don't you wish you'd had that training when you were that age? I do. Let's see. What are we doing now? Closing prayer. Yes. Love that part. Okay, good. You can see I'm new in this role. All right. So why don't you stand up? Do you have some hands? Well, 3 was good. Okay. All right. So let's just take a moment to know what we love to know, that there is only one life, that this life is good, this life is God, this life is the life of each one of us here as it is the life of all beings everywhere. And I just give thanks to the great activity of spirit that brought us all together here today to be in awakened, loving community together and to walk this path in each other's company. And so I know that all that is good that has been felt and known and realized today goes forth with us out into the world. That in ways that we don't even know, we are each a great blessing, bringing forth a greater light and a greater love. I know as we walk the path of minding our own gaps and closing the distance, that we become very congruent in the ways in which we share the truth that we know. And so I know that we are each a blessing. I know for each one of us that we are returned to our natural state of well-being, that wholeness is the truth of us, nothing broken, nothing missing, only the wholeness of God fully expressed. And so I give thanks for a wonderful week. I know its spirit meets, guides, and directs every step we take, and it is all for the greater good of life. And giving thanks for this, I release this word. I know it is done, and together we say, and so it is, amen. And now we're going to sing.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Say no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Said I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Seaside, sing!
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God.
No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
All right, and let's do our affirmation for this week. We're going to say it 3 times. Here we go. I live my highest good. I live my highest good. And now, like you really mean it. I live my highest good. And so it is, and see you next week.
I'm living in love. I'm living in peace. I'm living my life for what I believe. Through joys and through fears, in this world I walk. God's grace shines on me, and it shines on us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We're living in love. We're living in peace. United we stand as one family. We honor all truth as together we walk. God's grace moves through me as it moves through us all. We are living in grace. 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 Oh.